Welcome to another episode of the Stitch Diaries. Now I'm so sorry that I've made you wait this long for one, but it's just been the summertime and we've had an extra long holiday from schools and college and things because my youngest son was doing GCSEs and broke up early. My middle son's in college and he breaks up earlier than normal school days. So I've had them at home a real long time. They're still at home, but it's morning, they're quite quiet, and my husband's at work and my eldest is at work as well. So yeah, I just thought I'd spend a bit of time doing this video. Now I'm going to call this video a summer of making, maybe part one, just in case I don't get all this video done in one go. So I had a look at my last video, my last Stitch Diary video, to see where we was at, and surprise, surprise, I was showing you Nordic sweaters, mini Nordic sweaters, and I'd part made number 11 because they're Advent sweaters, and I went on and I finished number 11, and it's really very lovely, isn't it? I'm really pleased with this. Now I will admit I haven't done much of this over the summer. I have gone on and I've started making number 12. I have nearly finished it. I've just got to sew up one of the armpits on this side, threading a few ends and seam block it, and then I'll be at the halfway point. But really I'm not making good progress really, because this is only halfway and we're late August. I started them late January. I don't know if I'm going to get them all done for this Advent. I will carry on with it, but what it is, I've been doing other knitting and crochet, so it kind of slowed me down a little bit. But yeah, I'm determined to get back on it and start working on these again. So what distracted me? Now I'll probably work my way through what knitting and crochet has distracted me, because I'm going to talk to you about what I've made. Hear the helicopter. I live fairly near an airport, so we do get a lot of aircraft around here. I'm going to look through my photographs on my iPad, and then that will jog my memory on the things I've made and in what kind of order. But one thing I know that has distracted me, and I know I haven't taken a photograph of it, and it's this, and I'll pick it up. So it's working in the round on the double pointed needles. Actually, I got some new needles, these Prim. They're kind of boxy shape. And what size are these? These are 3.5. Yeah, and I'm making a Christmas stocking. So yeah, it's been a bit naughty really, hasn't it? I know it's only August, but you know, you have to think about these things. But I must admit, I'm going to leave this for a little while now, and I'm going to get back on the Nordic sweaters. And then maybe when I think, oh gosh, this isn't going to happen, maybe I'll start working on this closer to Christmas or something. But yeah, it's so easy to get distracted by beautiful things. Now this is a pattern by Arnie and Carlos. Again, the sweaters are Arnie and Carlos. Now this is their pattern. Now they released it as a special for like a short time only, and then they said it will go away, and then when it comes back eventually it'll be full price. So I just got in at the time, and there's a ball to go with it. It's basically a bullfinch stocking or something, so I haven't got to the bullfinch stage yet. And yeah, so it's really exciting, so I really enjoyed that. And I've done some crochet that I haven't photographed. Let me grab this over here. And I am disappointed with this, I will admit. Now I've been knitting a bee by Toft, not knitting, crocheting. Did I say knitting? Yeah, crocheting a bee by Toft. And yeah, it's quite a simple construction. I've not done the wings yet, but I've done the body, and you can see actually where you change over. There are, just to let you know, if you wanted that totally going smooth all the way around, you'd keep tying off your threads and then starting afresh. But I just kept working in the round, and that will be the, you know, you won't see that anyway. And this is the face. See that little turned up nose, and I think, is this a part of the body? I think it's like this. from what I remember, that bit in the middle, and then that, and then the wings. Now, what I'm really disappointed about is I've gone on ahead and done the face, and at no point in the pattern it told you to install the eyes. And then I thought, well, when you've got safety eyes, you need this to be open, but it just tells you to crochet the whole thing and stuff. And I'm a bit annoyed. So I'd done this weeks ago, and then I've just left it because I felt so annoyed about it. I'd have to now purchase a different kind of eye that I can install after I've made it, not the ones that came with it. I've had quite a bit of bad luck actually. When I bought this as a kit, the eyes were missing. I messaged them, they sent me the new eyes, and now they didn't mention when the eyes go in. So yeah, I absolutely love Toft, but yeah, I'm a bit disappointed it didn't mention them, but never mind, there we go. So is that my error? I don't know. I suppose what it is, I'd crocheted someone else's pattern just before the bee, and it told you exactly when to install the eyes. And and then maybe I was in that mode. But I'll show you what I crocheted. Now, I did take a photograph of this on my windowsill and put it up on an Instagram story, but I've not photographed it properly yet. And here it is. Now, most of you are not going to know who this little fellow is unless you've watched the movie. Now, there's a movie, it's an animation, I think it's Japanese anime, and it's called My Neighbour Totoro. And it's back from the 90s, I think, but I watched it with my boys. They loved it. Now, I've made this as a gift for somebody. Now, the person I've made it for doesn't know, but it's my son has had it on his desk since I've made it, one of my sons. And I need to try and see if he's willing to let him go. But yeah, he's really very sweet. I'd be quite happy if he stayed as well, but I don't really feel like making another one. And it's the whole expense, because I've used Toft alpaca yarn. So yeah, it's ended up, I initially was using my leftovers. I thought it was going to be quite inexpensive, but then I didn't have enough, and then I've had to make a purchase. But I did get free postage, which was nice, because there was an offer on. But yeah, it's so lovely. But yeah, unless you've seen the movie, you're not going to be all that fond of him. But yeah, but I'm very fond of him, I am. So anyway, I'll pop that down. I need to get him photographed, find out if my son's willing to let him go, and then I'll get him posted out to the person I wanted to gift him to. So anyway, what else? Now, looking back at what I was talking to you about in my last Stitch Diary video, I was on about I was going to make something for Wilma, my petite Blythe, because she came in a really inexpensive felt dress, didn't she? And I did go on and I made her a little outfit, a little dress with lace on it that matches my midi Blythe. So Neo are the larger ones, then you've got midi are the middle ones, and then the petite. And they're not authentic, my midi and my petite, they're not authentic Blythes. They're ones that I got from China. But but I made her this lovely little dress that matched the outfit that I'd made for Matilda. So I'll pop some photographs up on the screen for you to see those. So so I think that's where I was at when I was speaking to you, because I've had to watch my old videos so I knew what I was talking about. And I was talking to you all about this craft room series that I was hoping to bring you. Now, that hasn't happened, unfortunately. Excuse me, let me have a drink of water. Now, if you've been a regular viewer of my doll diary videos, you kind of have seen a little bit of an update. I moved most of my things into another room and I was sewing in there, but then it got to a point I couldn't fit any more in, so I had to take the sewing back out of there, the machines, put them back in my original room, and that's where they are now. So it's been bliss actually. I've been using my original craft room as a craft room and the other room more of a storage room. But yeah, I haven't had to move out of it properly yet. But I said to my husband, I'll move out of it properly when I've got to. where I haven't yet, because he hasn't done any more work out the front of it. So I might as well just carry on using it until I really, really need to get absolutely everything out. So it does look a bit of a mess in there because I'm working in there all the time. And he probably thinks, gosh, you've got loads to get out of here. But in heart to heart, I don't think it will take long to shift everything out of there that I need to shift out of there when the time comes. So I was going to bring you a Stitch Diary coronation video, and I even got some footage that I took of in Marks and Spencer's round about the coronation. Do you know what? I'll put that piece of video in for you now and how the shops were looking around coronation. So I'll see you back here in a moment. Right, I'm back. Hopefully you like seeing that bit of video in Marks and Spencer's and Hobbycraft. And I went on and I bought some fabric for the coronation. Now the plan was to make myself a dress and some doll dresses, and I did go on to make a coronation dress, which if you've watched my doll diary videos you will have seen already, but yeah, I haven't done it in a Stitch Diary video. So there's a few things you might have seen in previous doll videos, but there's going to be things not seen before. So yeah, so some people watch my doll diary videos and my Stitch Diary videos, so sometimes you're going to see things twice, which I'm sorry about that. But I made a dress. I can't even remember what it's called. I'll have to, do you know what, because I can't look on Instagram at the moment, I won't be able to tell you. It was a simple sew, but I'll put it up on the screen, the name of the pattern. Now it really sat very high on my neck because it's got a bust dart, and I think it just depends where your bust area. Now my full bust is kind of here, right? But not everybody's full bust area is here. Some people's bust sit a bit lower. So I think because mine is kind of like here, then the whole thing is high. So and then on the day of coronation, I wasn't actually going out. We had a terrible time trying to watch it as well. The sky was playing up and it wouldn't play in the kitchen. I could get in the craft room, but it just means I was missing all the important bits while I was having lunch and things, which was really unfortunate. But I did watch the replays later on, but it was totally ruined. But I basically made the dress, but for the photograph I shared on social media, I was pinned in it because I hadn't done the buttonholes and the buttons. But then I went on after and I bought some buttons from John Lewis, some lovely buttons, and yeah, and I did all the buttons at the back and I lowered the neckline, and I did feel a little bit happier with the neckline lowered. And now, so if I was ever to make that dress again, I'd either have to leave the neck as it is, lower the bust dart, or basically make that neck adjustment. And there you go. So that was that. So I made that for myself, and I've still got fabric left, but I actually made some Blythe doll dresses with little headbands, and one was intended I was going to keep. One I decided I was going to give away as a giveaway for a virtual Blythe retreat I was attending for a UK person, and one I thought maybe I could save for if I did a future doll convention or something like that. So I'll pop some photographs up on the screen of those little dresses that I made, and I don't think I didn't get one done for Barbie actually, but I have made Great Britain dresses for Barbie before that you've seen, and with that I still had a little bit of that fabric left from those Barbie dresses that I made, and I made a Blythe dress. I made one and Bonnie was modelling it. And yeah, because she came clothed, she's a customised Blythe doll. She came clothed in like a bit of a forest girl look about her, but I got her all dressed for the coronation, which was really lovely. So anyway, so I'm going to refer back to my photographs. I have got notes. So yes, the craft room, yeah, and then it says family. So family, we've obviously been, there's going to be probably more family things popping up as I look through my pictures and things. But yeah, my middle son did a year's worth of like level 2 media at college, the one that I was home educating, that had to do his GCSEs at college because he wasn't in school for the final 4 years of his school education. Well, he did a year in media and he got distinction. We've just recently got his results, so we're so happy about it. We're so proud of him. And also our youngest son, he's done GCSEs this year and he's done incredibly well. I didn't know, what I found out, GCSEs are apparently meant to be harder this year. So had he have done them previous years, he'd have got a higher result. But in all honesty, his results were really very good anyway. He got like 3 level 7s, which are classed as B. No, A, sorry, not B. They're classed as A's. But we would have got A stars maybe if it had been other times. And he got 5 B's. Was it 5 B's? And he only got 1 C, which is a pass still, but it's a lower pass, and that was Spanish. But he only could have got 1 grade higher in that because of the sort of paper that they took. And he didn't even want to take Spanish as a subject. He really resisted it in the early days, but then he just jumped on it and really tried. He actually was disappointed he didn't get 1 grade higher in Spanish because he got that in his mock and he didn't get it in the result. But that was his worst grade. But yeah, we're so incredibly proud of him. You know, he's the one that plays he's talented on the guitar. You know, I think he's you know, he's such a lucky boy. He's smart. He's he's an incredible musician. I think he's good looking. You know, he's got a lot going for him, hasn't he? But he's my son. I'm going to be biased, aren't I? So anyway, actually, in my last Stitch Diary video, I mentioned that a photograph that I took of one of my midi Blythe doll, and I'd put her hands like this, reminded me of a photograph of me when I was 3 years old, wearing a little red sailor dress with all little sailing boats and seagulls on, and it was at my nan's house, and I walked through the door and I kind of did this, and my mum found the photograph for me, so I'll pop that up on the screen for you to see. So that's like in the 80s. So anyway, back to coronation. The gym were good sports as well, and they had a Prince Charles and well, King Charles now, balloon figure. And yeah, I had a lot of fun with Barbies and things, taking photographs. Yeah, it was a fun time, the coronation. So I'm really sorry I didn't bring that video to you at the time. So yeah, I went on and made another dress a bit like the one I made for the Blythe for the coronation, in a different fabric with a headband, and I made that for Olivia, and she looks really very sweet in it. I'm back onto photographs of my mum sending me. She sent me one where I'd cut my own fringe and I was eating an ice cream and the flakes going up my nose. So yes, thanks for that, Mum. So yeah, then I went on and I knitted some tiny mohair socks for Lily, my Blythe. They're really very sweet, and I photographed her wearing them. And so yeah, let me find out where I am now. Yeah, I've done a lot of doll videos in between, so there's a lot of doll related photographs here. So yeah, I did a lot of doll customization, but yeah, I've been talking about things like that in my doll video. Actually, thinking about it, since my actual Blythe doll video, I've done an incredible lot of things actually that I've not videoed. I could do another Blythe doll video, in all honesty. I've done so much. So at this point I was sewing in the new craft room, but because I've got a picture of my sewing machine in my temporary sewing space here. Maybe I'll put that up on the screen for you to see. So then I signed up to a Blythe doll retreat, which again, that could be a video in itself. And I ordered a goodie bag, and then I was sharing things on that. So let me carry on. Then I went bowling with my family over this summer. And then we went to Zizzy's, which was lovely, in the Resorts World. Oh, I had an accident. If you watch my doll diary videos, I had an accident doing some doll customisation, and I've got a scar. Maybe I'll have that forever. I don't know, but I screwed electric screwdriver right into my hand, and I actually went into shock and things. Yeah, it wasn't much fun, but I'm a lot more careful now with it. So now if you watch my Stitch Diaries for a while, you remember I made myself the Marlowe sweater. It's basically like a jersey cardigan, which is fantastic. If you're someone that doesn't knit and crochet, or you do and you haven't got the time, which is normally my case, I can, but having the time to do that, it's not always ideal. A jersey one is nice and quick to make. So I made some doll versions, and I made quite a few of them. So one I intended to keep, and I thought maybe the doll convention, if I ever get to one eventually, they could go to. So that was another make. I really enjoyed those. I made them all in navy blue, and I actually put proper buttonholes on them and sewed buttons on. So then we get on to the virtual Blythe retreat. So I attended a virtual Blythe retreat that was going on in America. So a lot of the things were going on at night time when I was asleep. So I would have to catch up on the next day. But what was quite nice is I could kind of do stuff with my family. I went sailing with my family, which was nice. So yeah, so the people that ran it, Tammy, one of the sisters that ran it, she released a pattern that we could purchase to make a crochet top for a Blythe doll. Now the first one I made, I went by the instructions, but it was too big for my Blythe dolls, so I put it on a Dolores doll. If you've watched the Encanto, then you'll know who Dolores is. I made it for her. Then I changed my hook size and things, and then I started making them for Blythe. And the pattern came with a skirt that you sew a wrap over. So I made quite a few of those. And then during the Blythe retreat, we made a boho dress. We made earrings for the dolls. We made necklaces, a beach mat, and we had other fun things to get involved in as well. And I literally went mad, and every Blythe doll I had at the time, I made them a new outfit. I think one doll I put the one or two dolls I might have put the things that I got from the kit that they'd sent me, the goodie bag, the virtual Blythe goodie bag, but all the other dolls I made them something new. So yeah, I had a crazy weekend, but it was so much fun. I've really enjoyed it. So hopefully you're getting some loads of photographs of the things I made, earrings, bags, clothes, basically everything you see, I made, bar two probably things that came in the goodie bag. So yeah, that was lots of fun. So then we were kind of getting a bit into Barbie movie hysteria, so I started prepping a doll that I wanted, because I'd seen all the movie dolls way before the movie, because I'm a part of the Mattel club. I'm in the club and things, and I wasn't going to buy the movie doll. However, I have ordered that particular doll now, and I'm waiting on her, but I thought I'll recreate my own. So I got a doll ready that had really curly hair. She's a tall Barbie, so it took me all day to try and relax this hair, but I did it, and I made her a dress inspired by the Barbie movie. So are we getting to that yet? I'm getting sailing photographs now. Virtual Blythe retreat. Oh, then I bought a pattern from Arnie and Carlos, and it's basically to store your DPN needles and your circular needles, but I haven't made those yet. Then I actually built a doll, and from bits I'd got from here and there, and she's going to be Clara from the Nutcracker. So then I'd made this gingham dress inspired by the Barbie movie for a tall Barbie that I'd kind of done a makeover on, and I'll show you the Barbie doll that I was sort of like doing my version of. So hopefully that's popping up on the screen for you. So yeah, Barbie basically wears an outfit in pink gingham twice in the movie. She wears like it's called the Perfect Day dress, very circle skirt but with pleats kind of look, and then a beachy one that's a bit more skimpier. And also I saw Margot Robbie on the catwalk, at an event, wearing something really pink gingham, really like tiny, really lovely actually, little mini skirt and a little crop top with a little black edging and things. So yeah, so I went a bit gingham crazy, and I went into my local Hobbycraft and I bought pink gingham 3 times, and then when I read the bolt and I realised how much I'd ordered, I basically had the whole bolt of it. So I thought to myself, did I buy every bit of pink gingham in so little? Because Hobbycraft didn't have any more. And I thought, oh gosh, have I deprived all my other fellow town member sewers of pink gingham? But luckily I went into John Lewis and they'd been selling some pink gingham as well. Not exactly the same as mine, but they had been selling some, and you could tell people had bits of it. So yeah, I don't have to feel too guilty that I basically rinsed my town of pink gingham. So yeah, but I wouldn't feel too bad about it if I did, because I like to think I'm the biggest Barbie fan in town. That's what I like to believe anyway. So anyway, so then I joined a new Patreon, which is all about Blythe sewing basically. So I had a look at the free things so I could have done on there, and when I joined the most basic tier to start with, and I was thinking there's no sewing on here, and I thought, well, there might be a few bits of sewing, so I ended up upping it to the most expensive. But unfortunately, because I upped that one, I had to leave my Knit the Year one, which, do you remember I showed you those knitted bees was the last one? Yeah, I just had to, I looked what my monthly spend was getting like on Patreon, and I thought, I've just got to reduce this. So unfortunately, because that was £5 a month, I've had to knock that one off, because this one is even more expensive. But yeah, there was like how to make a little suitcase with a tin, some bags, yeah, anything else I remember I'll tell you about. Oh, and when I emptied my craft room, now what was funny is, remember me saying in my last Stitch Diary video, my proper one, I could hear rustling in my craft room. Well, I did find where the mice are getting in. I'll see if I can get this photo on actually. Oh, I did a video, so yeah, we'll see what happened. Basically by the fireplace I can see where some stuff had been chewed up, and they've been coming basically from next door. So yeah, I need to speak to my neighbour. I don't know if that's old, but basically I was getting rustling around then, wasn't I? So oh yeah, I am still getting mice actually, because I printed something out and I left it, and it had been chewed. I thought it got wet, because I'm not sure if the bay window's leaking with the work that's been done out the front, but my husband said no, that just looks like chew marks. So yeah, I'm still getting mice in there. So yeah, I'm a bit worried actually. It's lovely, I thought, oh, little mice, but not when they're chewing up your paper patterns, is it? So anyway, then I got involved in a Alice the Wonderland project. It was just a project. I wasn't in a collaboration, I wasn't involved in anything. It was a challenge I set myself, and it's because the Alice in Wonderland Day was coming up, and it's something that gets celebrated in Oxford once a year, because the author, I don't know if the author was from there or they wrote it there, but it was first told there on the river to 3 young daughters, and the daughters convinced their father, I think it was their father, to write it down. So yeah, so basically I ordered a couple of fake Blythe dolls in. I did end up in the end making their faces matte. But in the first photos you probably see they'll be shiny. But I ended up giving that dress that I'd made for Bonnie to my Alice doll, and I'd made a little apron and things. But then I ended up giving that apron to Eloise, which I say is Alice's sister. And so yeah, I'll be putting photographs up on the screen. Started getting a few little bits and bobs that are together that I've already got, and then I realised I've made and crocheted things, and I did a little Alice scene, but then so I'll show you all those things. But then I put a photograph on of since I've matted the girls' faces, and I do think they look much better. Now in Hillary's Patreon there was a printout to print some seeds for dolls, like seed bags, and I made a little box. It's very thin like balsa wood, so you can cut it quite easy yourself. I think I did it with an Exo knife actually, and a Stanley blade, and I glued the box together actually with the wood glue. And yeah, and Bonnie's there posing for that. So then I did a bit more of my Mandy Shaw quilt, and it's from when I was in her secret society. I made some more progress on that, but I will admit I've put that down again, and I've put that into storage because, you know, it's one of the things I've moved over because I can't keep everything out at the moment. So I'll work on that again back when things were a bit more settled. So then I made something called the June dress by Hilary of Moshi Studio, and I put it on Isabella, and yeah, and she's standing there in front of actually a wardrobe that I made that wardrobe, and you can see the little Marlowe sweaters in the background, and a little Boba Fett jumper I've knitted before that you've seen on a previous Stitch Diaries. Oh, and then I got some more little doll size mannequins because they were on sale. I got these for about £3 something each, and I took a photograph of them with one of the ones I already owned, with the Barbie dress I made, Barbie movie dress in front of it. Then I was digging around in Hillary's Patreon, and I managed to find a hat, a bucket hat. Unfortunately the pattern wouldn't print out the correct size. I've not had that problem with any of other Hillary's patterns, only this hat, and I had to do a bit of tinkering around by stretching it in some software to try and get it. It still wasn't perfect, the ruler, but it was good enough. The hat did fit luckily, which is great. So I was in Poppy to Fry's embroidery summer club, and I had the kits to do it, and I will admit I didn't complete a project. I started project 1, which was the biggest one. It was a picnic mat where all the squares were plain, and then you did the embroidery on the bag. But then during a weekly catch up, she did some embroidery. She did some fish and some sailboats. So I started embroidering a fish, and yeah, and then that's as far as I got with all the summer projects. I feel a bit ashamed about that actually, but it's just the way it goes. But I will do those projects. And Poppy has got a Christmas club coming up, but it's too late to get the materials, which I didn't. It was just the expense of the materials and the club at the time, and as well, I think I'd have liked to have seen more of what we were going to make before I committed to that. Well, I didn't have the money, that was kind of money at the time anyway, but I'd have liked to have seen a bit more. Hey Declan. Sorry about that, my middle son came in and told me yes, it's lunchtime. So yeah, I'm going to talk about one more thing or two, and then I'm going to make this part 1 of this video, Summer of Making part 1, and then I'll do a Summer of Making part 2. So I made a garment. While my husband was doing a bit of stuff out the front of the house, I made let's have a look at it, the J. I'm watching a video myself here. It doesn't say the name of it. Hang on, let me watch that again. The code, oh, let me rewind the video. I wish I took a photograph of it and not a video. Oh, the Florence. It's the Florence shirt and dress. So basically I made it in a linen that I had bought with a dungaree pattern off Sewing Street, a Fiona Hesford pattern I think it was, but I ended up making the dress with that fabric, and I did end up making some doll dresses as well. I made a dress for my Anne doll. Now I have been reading quite a lot over the summer, and one of the books I read was Anne of Green Gables, and with that fabric I made her a dress. Now I've had terrible luck with this Anne of Green Gables doll. I built her myself, but basically when I ordered her first body it was too dark. When I ordered her second body I tried a different sort of body just to be different, and the foot was broken on it, and the head, it just didn't work out connecting that body to the head without having a bit more knowledge on how I could get that working better. So then I ordered another body which took a long time to come, but then eventually it was a body I was used to and it was the right colour. So yeah, I went through quite a lot. This doll, it just went on forever, and actually a head scalp isn't the right one either. I had to do a bit of filing away, and if I really yanked I could probably yank a hair off, a scalp clean off. But yeah, I could do a bit more. I've screwed it in, so yeah, it probably wouldn't rip off. But yeah, I'm kind of exaggerating a little bit, but it's not as good fit as all the other dolls, basically. So yeah, so I really enjoyed working with that linen, and the shirt is lovely. I actually wore the shirt out on Saturday night. Right, I'm going to share the photographs of all the things I've shown you in this video so far with some music. This is part 1 of my summer of making video, and I'm going to get some lunch, and yeah, and I'll come back and I'll see you in part 2. I'll see you there.